Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's wee Paddy from across the shop, and here comes the technical side. Yes, if you would be ever so kind, please like, subscribe, and comment. Doesn't cost you nothing. You're not obligated. Subscription is just so that you get my videos put onto your feed when they come up. That's all it's for. It really means the world to me because I don't get any money from YouTube anymore, so I'm doing this self-funded, which is fine. It's what I like. It's my hobby, and I don't mind it in the slightest. But getting your video out there just helps. It helps people get to see my videos. So thank you very much. That's the technical side over. Now, what's this about? Well, I've got a lot of new subs recently, and I sort of fancied going back in time just a little bit. Is that I'm obsessed with Jack Wolf knives at the minute. I just think they're fantastic quality. I love the knives. You know, they would be the top knives in my collection of slip joints. And I know they're modern, but they still are they're just top of the range for me. So what did I collect before Jack Wolf came along? I love my Jack Wolves. This is one of my favorite, one of the first ones. Look at this dog leg. Isn't that just beautiful with a big fat spear? Love it. And on the other side here we have the one that's coming out this month, which is the sharpshooter. And look at that, and that beautiful, beautiful clip point on that blade. Hand drop satin blades, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. We talked about that yesterday. I got my initial impressions, even though I was a bit excited and messed a whole lot of it up. But so there's a reason why I like these knives, and you can probably hear one of them, and that is the audibility of them. They just sound super when you're using them. So do these. Not as quite audible as these, but the fit and finish of them is great. These are handmade. Well, they're part handmade in a traditional fashion. It's becoming less and less traditional, I suppose, with everybody's got to make... The demand for these is just outrageous. And these are GEC knives. Now, these ones on the table are not, apart from this one, are not your average EDC. These are the ones that people sought after, chase after for years and years, and keep trying to build up a selection. Like I did. This took me a while. I sold about half the knives that I had at one stage in my collection so that I could afford to buy these. I hunted them out from everywhere. And the reason this sort of came into my head today is I done a trade, and I got this wee one in a trade. This is the 14 pattern. Let me go back again. The first GEC I got was off a friend in America. God love him, I can't even remember his name now. It was years ago. It was the first really high-end slip joint I ever had. And it was this one. And it's a titty out, and this is a number 58 American Jack. Just look at that. A beautiful blade, well used, well loved. This has been black at some stages, and then I take it off, and then I put it back on again. And it's the number 78 pattern. It is a stunning knife. I love the bone on it. It's just gorgeous. And this set me off on a collecting phase that would cost me an awful lot of money. Not money that I had at the time. When I started collecting, when I got that, I didn't have a lot of money at all. But when my parents passed away, I was left a little bit of money, and I started collecting. And then I sold half my knives to get my GEC collection that I had. I must have had about 25 at one stage. I don't have that many anymore. I only have about... I think I have 15 now or something. But in saying that, I've been very picky about what I bought, and I am still very picky. I traded one out to get this. Well, it was somebody who wanted mine more than I wanted to trade, but I hope he likes his. You know, I'm glad to have this back in the collection, because these four here are the main GEC knives that people want to collect. People want. And that's why I brought them out, because I've got this sort of... These four have the bolsters that I like. These have got I'm trying to think of the name of it. These they're... Oh gosh, it's gone out of my head what the name you would call it. Come on then, Stephen. They've got bolsters that have been decorated by... This is GEC Barlow. This is the Tiddiout cutlery stamp. This is from the Cyclops Works, and this is their stainless steel variety, 440C, and this is a Northfields, and that is another company that gets them made for them once a year, or usually somewhere around that. And they're just to them, they're special to them, and it's designated by this Northfield on the bolster, NF on the bolster. The top two are Northwoods. And the interesting thing about these two, which you don't see very often, I don't know anybody else who has shown one in, I don't know how many years I've been good doing them and have them. This is a Derek Bone, who is, his family are the latest owner. Derek sadly passed away far too young, but he took over Northwoods from this fella here who made this knife. And this is a Northwoods knife, and it was Dave Shirley, and he owned the Northwoods brand before he sold it on to Derek Bone. Now, this one was made by Queen, when Queen were making really good high-end knives. And I like Barlow's. So these four and that one would be, this is the only one that's not over special. Well, it is special to me. It's a number 25 pattern. There's this, and there's a number 26 pattern, which is the bolsters reversed. It's the you can see this is a sleeve board pattern. The 26 is reversed over, where the thicker part is at the top, and vice versa, obviously. I like this one much better, and it just suits for that pattern. I don't need to rush out and buy another one. I'm quite happy. And my collecting, if you know my collecting, whatever brands I'm doing, I only ever really have one of the pattern in that brand. I don't collect 3, 4, or 5. Now I have two of these, two 15s, and I've just put in for another one, and they'll all stay because I just love the 15 pattern. It's probably my favourite. The Northwoods up here is in the 15 pattern, and it's on the same frame as the 15. There you go. You see that? Exactly the same size as the 15 pattern. So, are they hard to get? Yeah, they're incredibly hard to get. Now, I have had, I don't know, many number 14s, and I keep getting them, and then they go away again because they're just that little bit small. Whereas the 15 pattern allows me to get, look at this lovely spear on this. Again, this has been used in black at some stages. Usually they'll have writing etched on here. Mine usually goes, because I use quite a lot of these in everyday use. This gives me a 4-finger grip. Lovely spear point blade. Again, the sound is just beautiful. I love that sound. And the little 14, it's beautiful. It's a fair sized wee knife. I can get 3 fingers on it. My 4th is at the back here. But it's very stiff and very stable. It's just, you know, when I go to my drawer, and you can listen to the sounds of this wee one too. It's nice, not as loud as a 15, but it's smaller. When I go to the drawer to get one out, I usually always go to this one just simply because I can get 4 fingers on it. So I'm going to try and change and use this a bit more, especially now I'm carrying this knife, because this has changed the way a lot of I'm carrying at the minute. So the Northfield, I think it's Knife Ships Free. It's his company that does it. This is a GEC Barlow. It is just beautiful. It is beautiful. This is a number 77 pattern. So we got 14, 15, 77. And then the only other Barlow that GEC do, if I'm right, is this one here, which is their stainless steel version. And this is in 440C. This is the number 86 pattern. And this is a proper big knife. I mean, if you take it, there's the 14. If you can see the 14 compared to it, let me just do that. There you go. There's the 14 compared to it. Much, much smaller knife in every dimension. But again, it has its uses, and there's nothing wrong with a small blade. And if I'm carrying something like this Ask knife from Medford, it's got S45A in the blade steel. I can take something as small as this out, because I wouldn't really want this as my everyday carry, although it would probably do it perfectly for my day. I like to have something a bit more in. This would do. I mean, this is just a beautiful 440C, really, really lovely big knife. Just, you can spread your fingers out. Beautiful big clip point blade. But I mean, the clip point blades are, they're really different, and that's what I like about them. Everybody thinks they're all the same, and they're not. Look at that. They're completely different. Look at the big swedge on this, the long pull. This has got the nail nick and a very small swedge in the top. But they make this version of their clip point I just love. I think it is absolutely beautiful. And the one I'm hoping to get, now I've just put my name down for it. I don't know whether I'm going to get it or not. That's the joy with these. But this is beautiful. This was my favourite knife for a long time in all my collection. And it's still really high up there. It would still get to the top 3 of slip joints. It would definitely be at the top 3. This little small one, again, this is even smaller than the 14. And yet I'll probably carry this more. Because I carry this a lot for this simple fact. It's got this beautiful sheep's foot blade. It's a sturdy wee knife. I can get 3 fingers on it. Definitely can't get that one anywhere near the back. But again, the same as the 14, it's beautiful in hand. Absolutely stunning. And the sad thing, as I'm going through, I'm going back and forwards here, but the sad thing about the GEC, well, is it sad? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I suppose the likes of your Striders and all, if you're into the modern knives, they're hard to get too. These are hard to get. Nearly as hard as a Strider, I would say, because there's so many want them, and they're a small company and they make small batches. They've been trying to get a bit more this last year, so hopefully that'll lift it a wee bit and more people will get to enjoy them because they are just exceptional knives. The 2 at the top are the hardest of all to get. This is the North Woods. You can see that beautiful. Look at that. That's really deep in there with a long and an easy opening. And this is a Michigan Jack. They have all sorts of sizes, much like all GEC. GEC make them all too now. But it was before Queen and maybe other people, because Dave Shirley, when he owned it, he never told anybody who made the knives for him, whereas GEC, we know who the maker is. It was the main man at Queen, then moved on and started his own company, GEC. The Northwoods is lovely. It's sabre grind. It's the most beautiful. And people, because it's not, people were called it somewhere between a Warncliffe and a sheep's foot. So this ended up being called the Bone Cliff. And that's what it was called. And it's just an absolutely stupendous little knife. Sturdier little knife because of that sabre grind. It's fatter behind the edge, but it's a great little work knife. And again, I get the full 4 fingers on this, which is just great. But a beautiful thing. To buy these now is just crazy money. It really is crazy money. Thankfully, I got in and I got mine from really decent people who didn't take the hand out of me. And I managed to buy this. And this one, again, was made by Queen, but beautifully made. Look at the bone on that. That is just an amazing jigging on that bone. Look at that. It is stunning. Really stunning. Lovely clip point. Again, different from the GEC clip points. And it also comes with a little pen blade. Where am I? It's on the other side, yeah, plonker. There you go. You get a little pen blade, and it's not little, it's a good size pen blade. Something that GEC don't do is double bladed knives. Not that I know of. I think they're all single bladed. But I could be wrong there. I'm no aficionado on them. But this is beautiful. Really is a gorgeous knife. Beautiful jigging. Fit and finish on this is as good as any GEC you're ever going to get. And I mean, I don't know what age this is, but it's, it's in perfect nick. I love it. I don't use it much. I have used it in the beginning. I have carried it for a while, but not very much at all. A lot of them I don't use much, but I'll have ones like this I use all the time. This I use all the time, and that I use all the time, and that I use all the time. The other ones, not so much, because they're just so expensive, and I've just got this fear of something happening. This was my user for years. I just loved this blade. It was lovely. I had my dinner and everything with it. It was just beautiful. But these are my sort of the high-end versions, apart from this one, but these are still quite expensive to buy and hard to find. So that's what I liked before I liked Jack Wolf knives. That was my main collection, and then Jack Wolf Lives came along, and they didn't take over. This would still be, this would still be my main collection that I've taken pride in, because they were so hard to get. All these ones here are so hard to get. And when you do get them, you usually end up, unless you can get it from the dealer, which is I do not pay over dealer prices anymore. I just do not do it, because they are beautiful knives and they love it. But once they start going over that £200 mark, and they go up a lot from there sometimes for some of these, I'm not interested in buying them at that price. They're not that good. Once you're getting up to near the price of a Jack Wolf knife, because what you're getting in materials and blade steels and everything else about these, I can see the price in, but I can't see these at that price. They're not that good, but they are fabulous. Don't get me wrong. Again, it's my favourite band for collection. But it's slowly being caught up by these. But the traditional side of the knife world is where I'm sat. These are just fantastic knives that are in that the crossover between modern and old traditional. These are very modern compared to most of my knives that I collect, because I like the older knives. That's my thing that I'm heading into. So I'm kind of leaving these behind because I've got exactly what I want. As in the patterns that I wanted. There's still a few out there, and then just the normal patterns that I'm still looking for. But oh, sorry, there's my. You're away. Okay, love. Sorry, that's my wee wife. Our dogs were down getting cut and shampooed this afternoon, so she's going down to pick them up. But yeah, this collection will not shrink, because for me at the minute, I'm one in, one out. So when I buy something else, something has to go to get it. These, I'm very fortunate I get them free. I'm very, very fortunate, and don't think I don't appreciate that. I genuinely do. And I think Ben knows exactly how I feel. I just think it's the most generous that anybody's ever been to me, in this knife world. To give one of these each month, I just totally appreciate it. And I get to share it with you lot. Do you know what I mean? Because, what is our collections if we don't want to share them? And I'm sure there's some people out there just quite happily being on their own, but I'm not. I love to share my collection. And as I built these up, the pride I had when I opened my drawer, I used to just swoon. I would sit and just stare and swoon, because these are sort of, all these knives here, to buy them now is nearly out of my price range for my budget on knives. Thankfully, in the early days, I collected a mass of knives given to me by companies, so I was able to sell a lot of them to get new knives, and it was something I had to do. I still have my budget knives there that I like, and I'm now settled with ones that I really like, and I don't want to get rid of them anymore, because they're part of my knife history. And getting rid of them all would just take away all my knife history, like my Ganzos, my Rough Riders. I still love them, and I have a good selection of them. And it's because at the beginning of my knife journey, they were the ones that kept me going. They were the ones I could buy each month or each week, whatever I was getting. It was Rough Riders, you could buy more of them. And it was great to learn patterns. And it's where I learned all my patterns from, was Rough Rider. Believe it or not, that started me trying to chase different patterns, what I liked, what I didn't like. Didn't like. So I had a bit of a rambly day. I think just because I got this and I realised I had all four back again, because I think, as far as I know, these are the only four that have the initials or whatever on the bolsters. And so that's special to have them four. Do you know what I mean? But then to have these two, one, this knife, which I just love using, but to have this one, which was pre-Derek Bone, I haven't seen many Dave Shirley knives. And if you've got some, please show me them. Send me a photograph if you haven't got a YouTube channel. If you have a YouTube channel, do a video on it, because I'd be so interested. I've just never seen another. So there we go, everybody. I'm away. I know I've just waffled on a wee bit, but yeah, I've enjoyed getting these out and a wee bit of reminiscing, because I don't talk about these that much. Otherwise it's just to show the whole collection and it's quickly and over. And sometimes I like to babble on a little bit and just talk about them. So I hope you're interested in these. They are. But look, if you're in search of things like these, you know, obviously if you can afford it, but don't put yourself out too much to get these. Maybe pay a couple of pound over if you know a pattern that you really want. But I think too many people now are putting such a high price on these. It takes it away from me when I see the prices they're putting in. You know, it's just they're very, very, very good knives, but they're not worth over £200. They're just not. To me, and again, this is all we all speak about ourselves, and this is to me, they're not worth over £200. These, because of the rarity and how hard they are to get, I can understand why they go over that price. Only these four are the ones that I can understand going up in price a bit more. But your basic GEC, there's plenty out there you can buy in the second-hand market. You just have to find your own way of where you're going to buy it. And I've been very lucky. I'm in a lovely wee GEC group. Well, they're not just GEC, but that would be the sort of the main. And the prices are very, very fair on it, which is lovely. There you go, folks. Take care. I'm away. Waffle over. But it was really nice to get this today, and I'll do a wee in-depth video on this alone in the very near future because I'm going to use it for a wee while first. This was a user, so and I have no problems just taking that and using it. Right, I'm away. Take care. Bye-bye.